Meet me. Welcome back, boys, to another hero preview with Dr. Squirrel. We have a lot to talk about today, some crazy things coming out. So today we're going to talk about Solitaria. We're going to talk about Bomb Model Kanna, or Kanna, I don't know how to say it. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one. And then I want to touch on some key things from the patch preview, so you guys don't have to watch it. These things are really long, but I'll try to touch on some really key things from it. So first, let's talk about Solitaria. I always like watching this thing first, so let's just do that together.
Welcome to my kingdom. I hope you enjoy yourself.
It's actually a pretty long S3 and it looks pretty awesome. One funny thing to note is that she's the ML Ida, which literally just came out, which is funny to me. Think of all the heroes that have been out for ages and don't have an ML counterpart, and Ida gets one like what, less than a month after? They must really like this hero. So first, let's go over the stats. She's a Taurus mage, so think Dizzy. So, you guys know that Dizzy's pretty fast, but she can also be built pretty tanky. So she might actually turn out to be a pretty tanky mage. So let's go over her abilities. So first of all, her S2, again, a lot of heroes are defined by their S2, and I'm actually not happy about this one at all, but let's just read it together. I want to go home. Decreases the amount of focus gained by the enemy by 100%. When the caster is buffed at the start of the turn, has a 70% chance to grant Daydream for one turn, so at maximal 100%. And Daydream, when she attacks, inflicts a random target debuff, or a random debuff on the target for one turn. They have a typo here. Date Dream cannot be dispelled, and the random debuffs are decrease attack, decrease hit chance, decrease speed, and cannot buff. All very powerful. Now, let's touch on why I hate this ability. So, what is this going to completely neuter? Any focus hero, SSB, Riolet, whatever. There's a bunch of other focus here. Archdemon Mercedes. Granted, Archdemon Mercedes can shut this passive down, but still, I've complained previously about rock, paper, scissors heroes because I think this is Smilegate's way to force you to keep pulling for new heroes, right? This is why I don't really. I love RTA, but I think the RTA meta is really becoming a whales game because it just turns into rock, paper, scissors drafting. Because the more heroes you have that severely counter another hero built, the better off you are. If you draft SS, like basically a lot of focus heroes will become undraftable early because if you run, like, imagine you drafted SSB in like a 2-3 pick, and then you run into a Solitaria and Rowana pick. Like your SSB's hosed no matter what. So what happens is the more hard counter moves you unleash in the game, the more heroes you force to become 4 or 5 picks. And I think Solitaire is going to be another hero like that, where it makes a lot of heroes. If you don't pre-ban them, it forces them into the 4 or 5 role because picking them early will be suicide. So it's not a knock on the ability itself. I think this ability is great, but I think it's bad for the meta. They can't come out with any balanced unit nowadays. It's just all because this passive is useless against any hero that doesn't have focus, right? Other than the daydream part, but this decrease the amount of focus part is useless against heroes without focus, but it's game breaking against heroes with focus. So again, another rock paper scissors ability. Is there anything to watch here? Let's see. No, nothing to watch, just a passive. Okay, so our S3 decreases enemy buff durations by 1 turn, so basically just meant to strip immunities before attacking with Starlight, stunning for 1 turn before decreasing combat readiness by 30%. The way it's worded, the strip happens before the stun. So again, if the S2 wasn't enough, the S3 is going to neuter Riolet as well because it'll strip the evasion before stunning him. Granted, you could MLDB, but maybe you'll Symbol of Unity or something, or Oath Key on her. And then it grants stealth to the caster for 2 turns, so that's a lot like Tomoka. If you soul burn at 20 souls, then you get stealth for 3 turns and grants an extra turn. It's kind of expensive, but might still be pretty good. Let's just watch that animation again because I did think it was really awesome.
소울 20개 사용 시 자신에게 적용된
A super long animation, but I actually think that's pretty hilarious. So I think that one's pretty self-explanatory. It's a strip and a stun, a CR pushback, and it gives her some survivability with the stealth. And it is single target, by the way. Now our S1 attacks the enemy with magic with a 25% chance to stun. If used on her turn, it's an AoE attack. So basically, this is the same thing as Dizzy's S1, although you can argue that Dizzy's is better because she can counter AoE. If you put Solitaria on counter set, it's kind of wonky, right? Because her S3 gives her stealth. And also, if she counters, she only hits one person. But you could argue that the S1 is better because if you remember from her S2, her S1 can also proc all these debuffs. So, she's almost like an ML Dizzy in a way, right? She's an ML Dizzy that counters things with focus. So, I think I like this hero a lot, guys. I think she'll be pretty annoying, and I think she will be usable. Like, the thing is, this S2 is just too strong. I think that she might be a must pull for serious RTAers. Like, if you're just trying to be champion, like, it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to push for legend, like, these are the kind of heroes I want, you think. Like, the heroes that force the other guy to ban them. Like, because imagine, like, anything that early picks Rylet or SSB, this is going to kind of destroy them. So it kind of turns into a must ban for them. Like RTA drafting at the high tiers is just trying to stack as many must ban heroes on top of each other to really screw the other guy up. So I think this is going to be a really good addition to that kit. Now, again, I don't like how this meta is going because there's going to be too many of these rock, paper, scissors heroes. But hey, if you're going for high-end RTA, I think she definitely has a place. This move is obviously going to shut down a lot of heroes. So ultimately, I think she's a very good hero. If you're just trying to use her general purpose, I think you could just skip her. Obviously, things like RB and stuff like that, or FCC, LR Crow are much better general purpose heroes. But again, high-end RTA becoming very rock, paper, scissors, and she's a very strong rock if you want to call it that. Like she'll be very good against certain heroes, like must ban level. So yeah, overall I think she's very, very solid. Let's move on to Bomb Model Kanna. As always, let's just watch this thing.
Here comes the grand finale. Nana
I love that too. E7's so great with these animations. They really need to make like an anime. Alright, she is a Gemini Ranger. So, Flitica? I think Flitica's a Gemini Ranger. Like, these stats look like Flitica, so you guys could correct me. I think it's Flitica stats. Okay, so let's look at her skills. S3 boosts firepower to attack all enemies with a 100% chance with Mola to dispel one buff before increasing speed of all allies for 2 turns. They're really going with this increased speed thing. Increased speed is obviously one of the most powerful buffs in the game, and it increases her own attack for 2 turns. Cheap Soul Burn increases duration of buffs by 1 turn. I don't know. Let's. Oh, they're showing it off against an expo. So we just saw it. Like, can we get a sense of damage through this?
소울 10개 사용 시 해당 스킬로 인한 강화효과의 지속 턴수가 1턴 증가
28k. Oh, it's a death broken target. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. Who knows? But I mean, on the surface, it doesn't seem like anything too crazy, but it does give her a self attack buff, and you guys all know from Landy how strong a team-wide speed buff is. But yeah, and the dispel is nice as well to strip immunities. But let's see how her other abilities are and see how it all synergizes together. S2, when full bombardment is available, this is cool, takes a shelling stance. If her, I assume that's her S3, when it's unavailable, takes a striking stance. Okay, so basically, if her S3 is off cooldown, she gets 40 extra effectiveness. And if she uses her S3, she gets more speed. Doesn't say how much more speed, and 5% extra dual attack chance. So that's pretty cool. And what is this? I don't know if it's to all her stats or the stats it's mentioning here. I'm assuming it means all her stats. But this is pretty interesting because basically it's letting you build her with less effectiveness. So, I mean, it's really just a strip. So it's weird that they're prioritized because the only thing it does is dispel one buff. So I guess it's just slightly like you're still not going to have enough effectiveness on her to strip like a Ruel or something. But I guess it's just increasing your chance of dispelling DPSs that have random like 40 effect resist, and you don't have to put any effectiveness on her like and waste stats. But the striking stance is cool because depending on how much increased speed this is, she'll have speed buff plus even more speed from her striking stance. And that means you can prioritize more things like HP, damage, or even just go speed and just have her turn cycle people. So
상태일 경우
let's see. I guess there's nothing to show because it's an S2. What's her S1? Did I miss it? Oh, here we go. Quick bombardment. Rapidly fires to attack two
적으로
enemies.
대상을 포함한 인물을
Huh.
공격합니다.
I want to see what this
피해량이
looks
기존
like.
속도에 비례하여 피해량이 증가합니다.
Actually, it looks pretty
자신의
cool. You know
속도에
what that
비하면
reminds me of? One
피해량이
of those
증가합니다.
mobs, like the cannon mobs animations.
피해량이
Actually,
증가합니다.
she looks gigantic in that thing. So this is pretty cool because I guess her dual attack also attacks two enemies, and she's going to be super fast because of that striking chance, and her damage increases proportional to speed. And it's going to be kind of RNG because it looks like a big part of it's going to be dual attack. I wonder if people will just stack Unity sets on her and just make her dual attack like crazy. But depending on the multis, she might just do a chunk ton of damage. The only concern I have is her base stats because I mean I have never tried to make a tanky Flitica. She doesn't have any built-in survivability like stealth or anything, and my understanding from all the time I've used Flitica is she's very squishy. But again, I've never tried to build her tanky, so I feel like maybe that's why they're giving her all the speed so that maybe you can just take those speed stats away and put it into bulk and damage. I have seen DPS Fliticas before, but never a bruiser Flitica, so I'm not sure how easy it would be to build her that way. She does have a team crit chance imprint and a self attack imprint. Pretty solid. But yeah, so, oh, artifact, let's see. Pretty cool. It's kind of like an oath key built into a 30%. It's like an oath key and half of a Draco plate stuck together. It doesn't reduce the damage she takes, but this might be usable. I think this might be a very solid artifact for certain heroes. So I think on her it might actually work if you don't want to deal with MLDB. All right, so for this hero, let's summarize. I don't know, to be honest, because it looks like she's mainly meant to be a DPS unit, and I can't get a good sense of her multipliers. I know I could probably just Google it, but I'm too lazy. If she does a lot of damage, she might be pretty good, especially in the RTA meta where it's kind of about like putting overwhelming damage through. I mean, the meta might change, obviously, but increased speed, we all saw how powerful Landy was last season because of that, helping that team cycle through. And since she hits two targets with her S1, if her multis are good with all those stacking with speed bonuses, she might end up doing crazy, crazy damage. My main concern with her is how easy is she going to be to build with squishy Flitica base stats? I mean, maybe I'm wrong and they're not that squishy, but again, I've never seen a tank Flitica before. So, is she a must pull? I don't know. Probably not, but she does look like she'll be a lot of fun. Obviously, she's RGB, so I'll be pulling for her. I have more than enough resources. And I think that's it for that hero. Now let's skip to some key points from this patch preview. Obviously, the Guilty Gear collab is coming back, so I mean, I'm not going to summon on anything here because I have everything. But if you guys want those heroes, obviously pull for it. I'll do a should you pull on it later for newer players that don't have these heroes, but I have all of them, so I don't really care about this banner. As far as I understand, there's no other new hero like that witch lady that was teased a really long time ago. So, yeah, whatever. And you're going to have the same Stars Mirage coin thing that they did for Cerise, Landy, DN. Expedition, the energy cost is going to go down. They're going to make it a little easier to clear out. Kind of pointless at this point because with the substat things, people have been going past the 2100 anyway. But still, it's a nice quality of life improvement. I don't think they mentioned the Guild Wars thing here. I don't feel like going through the whole thing, but Guild Wars will also have battle logs that I think show who attacked you and with what. So that'll be pretty cool. Maybe that'll spice up Guild Wars a little bit. Equipment inventory expansion. This is huge for me because I freaking hate clearing up my inventory. So I wish this was plus 2,000, but 50, I'll take it. Ken improvements. I mean, Ken improvements. There's a Ken banner. Nothing to say about that. And this is the big one, guys. So I'm really excited about this. Basically, that guaranteed substat thing that everyone's been dreaming about, it's happening. Now, granted, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I skimmed through this, you can only make a single piece for it, but it's better than nothing, right? So basically, you get to make one dream piece. Now, granted, it could still roll like garbage, but it's still pretty cool, right? I think the coolest thing I like about this is that it shows that now, even if we can only do one, it shows that the ability is in the game now. They took the time to create this feature. So even though we can only make one, this is probably going to happen multiple times now, right? So I wonder how many times a year they're going to have this event because they have the code for it now. So I doubt that they wrote all this code to only have it be once and they'll never give it to us again. Maybe 3 times a year, 4 times a year, or hell, you know what would be really cool? If they spiced up Guild Wars and RTA by giving out some of this as rewards. Like, how about this? Top 500 in Guild Wars gets 2 guaranteed gears. Top 100 gets 3 guaranteed gears. Top 10 gets 5. This would really incentivize people to try more, right? Because right now, like even RTA, what's the incentive to try past 2000 in Champion if you can't make Legend? Champion was 2000 MMR last season. Legend was like 4200. That means there's 2200 MMR in between where there's no incentive to play at all. Maybe they make it so top 1000 champion, you get a few guaranteed equipments. Like this opens up a lot of doors, I think, and can spice up some other content that effectively becomes useless. Like Guild Wars, if you can't make top 100, who cares after you hit Glorious Guardian? They need to spice up the reward structure a bit, and I think this would be a great idea to do it because everyone's always going for new gear. So if you guys are curious in how it works, you guys can watch the video here. But basically, it's self-explanatory. You pick the set, you pick the substats, and these points that you need to do it, you get it just by using energy, which you were going to do anyway. So I think those were the key things from this patch preview. Just to sum it up real quick, so you don't have to go through the entire hour. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a comment below. If you didn't like it, leave a comment and say how much it sucked and what I could do to do better. And best of luck to you guys on future pulls and whatever equipment you end up making from this thing. By the way, quick recommendation, I recommend you make it for a set that you need but don't have a lot of. So if you have a bunch of speed set but very little immunity sets, pick the immunity set and make a godly piece of immunity gear for whatever your hunt team is weakest in. You'll just get the most bang for your buck that way. So anyways, let's wrap this video up. Thanks for watching. Until next time. Peace out, boys.